All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All praises and glory goes to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the men in GMS who rule well. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Boaz on the set once again. False prophets, okay? What you talking about? ISUBK. What you talking about? ICIU. What you talking about? GOCC, okay? All these false camps that took them back. Israel, one body in Christ, okay? All these false prophets that's going to lead you down to destruction, okay? You follow, they're going to lead you down to destruction, okay? You won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? Like we discussed on multiple occasions, and I'm going to say it again, GMS got it, okay? Let's get it. Turn to the book of Philippians. The book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 1. This is from a KJV. Finally, brethren, rejoice in Yahweh. To write the same thing to you is indeed not grievous, but it is safe. Okay, so to say the same things over and over again, why we have to say the same thing over again? Because when that day comes to pass, okay, you're gonna wish we said it over and over again. Okay, you're gonna wish in that day we said it 1,001 times. Okay, because when our mouth cleaves us to our roof of our mouth, our tongue, it's gonna be over in that day, okay? Let's get it. What you talking about? These men are prophesying lies in Yahweh's name, okay? Yahweh didn't send these men, okay? They prophesied lies in Yahweh's name. The book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with furnace heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Okay, so that's it. That's it. When this thing comes to pass, you're gonna wish we said it over and over again. Okay, there's no topic more important than these scriptures. Okay, that's a first and foremost should be in all your teachings and lessons. Okay, there's no topic above these scriptures. Okay, there's nothing more important. Okay, this is your heartbeat, so you can make it out with your life. Okay, when this thing comes to pass. So these men, they prophesize lies in Yahweh's name. They're not sent on. They took a bag. Okay. If they calling God a Hea, see, calling God a Yeshaya. Okay. The names we already know is Yahweh, Yahushai. Okay, we know it's the names. Yahweh is the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai is His Son. If they're telling you to call God any other name, don't believe them. Okay, the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33. But seek first the kingdom of power and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Okay, seek Yahweh Yahushai first. Okay, and all these things shall be added unto you. Okay. If you want to make it out with your life, and if you concerned with your loved ones, okay, you follow this truthful doctrine of Yahweh Yahushai, okay? That's what this is about. You follow this truthful doctrine. Turn to the Apocrypha. The book of 2nd Ezra 6, chapter 6, verse 8. We'll start at verse 7. 2nd Ezra 6, verse 7. Then answered, and I said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall the end of the world, end of the first, and the beginning of which that follows? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, then Jacob and Esau were born unto him. Jacob held the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of the one that follows. Okay, so they're not telling you, okay, that the so-called white man is going down. Okay, if they're not, if they're sitting up there saying that we could be saved or they could be saved, you better you better get up and walk out, okay, so you can make it out with your life, okay. The scriptures is point blank clear. They're lying to their congregation, okay, for filthy lucre's sake. They're lying to their congregation for filthy lucre. Let's get it. The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 7. For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of power, and not self-willed, not soon to be angry, not given to wine, nor giveth to filthy lucre. Okay. Jumping over here to verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially of the circumcision, okay? Like we discussed, it's ISGBK, okay? GOCC, okay? All these other false groups. If you follow these men, they're going to destroy you, okay? You're going to be walk off a cliff. When they finally reveal it, and we discussed this on multiple occasions, the so-called white man, when he finally unveils that mark of the beast, okay, they're going to be shamed in that day, okay? Shame's going to hit them, okay? Because the GMS was saying that it was a microchip all along, okay? They're going to lose a lot of their followers, okay? They're going to get up and walk out, okay? They're not preparing you for that Jacob's trouble, okay? That's destined to come upon us, okay? That's prophesied, okay? It's Jacob's trouble. They're not warning their congregation, okay? Now, if they can all of a sudden say, oh, this the microchip, I'll get up and walk out on them, okay? They're playing with your life, okay? Don't play with your life in this thing. Okay, seek Yahweh Yahushua while you still can, while the doors of mercy are still open, like we discussed, okay? If you concern with you and your loved ones, okay? So you can make it out with your life. The book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 11. Whose mouths must be stopped, who subverts whole household, teaching things which ought not to be teach for filthy lucre's sake. What they teaching, oh, the so-called white man can be saved. Okay, what they teaching? Call God, hey, Yeshaya. See, so what they teaching? Okay, the RFID chip is not the microchip. Okay, ain't no microchip. Okay. They saying all these lies that's going to eventually get their followers destroyed, okay? That's what this is about. That's what this is all about. Turn to the book of Acts. The book of Acts, chapter. This is the book of Acts, chapter. One moment. I believe it's chapter 5. The book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 36. For behold, these days rose up tonight is boasting himself to be somebody, to whom number the men about 400 joined themselves with those who slain and who was slain, and all of his followers who obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. Okay, so if it's of the men, it's going to be brought to naught. Okay, and we know, like we discussed, GOC, GMS, they have it, they got it. They cracked the riddle. Okay, they cracked the riddle before evening time came. Okay. So of the laborers before evening time, that's the game. You have to crack this riddle before evening time comes, okay? So you can make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? And your ticket out of here is you know who, Yahweh Shai, okay? He's your one-way ticket out of this hellhole, okay? What you call a kingdom. Verse 37. After this, a man rose up, Judas of Galilee, in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and was even as many as obeyed him was perished. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let these men alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the power, ye cannot overthrow it. You be less happily, you be even fighting against power. So you can't overcome these. You can't overcome these things. Okay, you can't. These things. Okay, this group. Okay, GMS. They got it. They cracked the riddle. They did it. Starting with Tahar, okay, they got the 100% truth, okay. If you look at it on the verse 40, and to him they agreed, and then they had called the apostles and beaten them. They commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahweh Shai, and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the councils, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer for his name, for the sake of his name. Okay, so and that's another saying that you're not gonna get tried. Okay, in this thing, when you are part of Yahweh Shai, you're gonna lose your job. When you are part of Yahweh Shai, you're gonna lose your home. When you are part of Yahweh Shai, if you know you're gonna lose your family, you're gonna lose your kids. It comes with the job, okay? Yahweh Shai says, I'm testing you at the furnace of affliction. Let's get it. You're going to lose all these things, okay? You don't expect that you're going to keep these things, okay? It comes with the job. The book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah. Give me one moment here. The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 10. For behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee out of the furnace of affliction, okay? The furnace of affliction, okay? Not joy and happiness, not singing and dancing, okay? You're going to lose all these things, okay? You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose everything. Some of these brothers have really good jobs they lost, okay? It comes with a job, okay? So you can make it. Yahushua is love. He loves you. He's chastising you, okay? So you can make it out with your life, okay? That's what this is about. I don't know about you, but on that day, I don't want to be here on that day, okay? When this thing comes to pass, okay? I don't want to be here on that day, okay? When this thing finally comes to pass. When those nuclear bombs, you hear a loud noise, boom, instant panic sets in, dread sets in on you, okay? You're going to know that you messed up in that day, okay? You're going to know you made a wrong decision. And those are, in a way, you're going to try to save your life. You're going to lose your life in a way. You might as well lose your life for the Lord's sake, okay? For Yahweh Shai. Okay, the book of Sirach, chapter 1, verse 8. There is one wise, greatly feared. Yahweh Shai sits on his throne, okay? There's only one power that sits on his throne, okay? Yahweh, okay? That's what this is about. That's what this is all about, so you can make it out with your life. The book of Ecclesiasticus 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahweh, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make no haste in time of trouble. Cling unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Here's the point. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take it cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Okay, so be patient. Perseverance, endurance, patience. You got to have endurance and patience in Yahweh Shai. You got to have endurance in Yahweh Shai. Let's get it. Turn to the book of Proverbs. It was book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 5. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding shall obtain unto wise counsel. to understand the proverbs and the interpretations, the words of a saying and their dark sayings, okay? Yahweh Shah put it in a dark saying, okay? Because what Yahweh saying, don't wake them up, okay? He's saying don't wake them up. So, like we discussed on this on multiple occasions, Yahweh Shah sits on the throne saying, how are we going to deceive him? And the angels or the demons, they say, well, I'll make them join GOCC. And Yahweh says, go and do what you say. That's what goes on in heaven. How are you going to make up a them? I'll tell them to take the mark of the beast. I'll tell them to take the mark of the beast, okay, when this thing comes out, okay? And if you sitting up there saying, trying to live yourself a life of what you call a life in this hellhole, okay, what you call a life, okay, I didn't know nothing about this. If you sitting up there saying, this is from an NET version, the book of Proverbs 24, verse 10. You have slacked off in the day of trouble. Your strength is small. Okay, so if you slacked off, okay, your strength is small in this day. Okay, you didn't have the faith and the belief and to keep posturing Yahweh Shai. Okay, He will test you. You will have to go through your set tribulations. Okay, but if you follow in GOCC, if you follow in these other camps, you're gonna be destroyed in that day, okay? Yahweh Shai ain't gonna save you, okay? You gotta come out these groups, okay, and come to the group that got all the wisdom and the knowledge, okay? If you want to know, understand Scripture, you better join onto GMS while there's still time, and stop these games and stop playing with your life, okay? And stop playing Russian roulette with your life, okay, and come clean, okay. GMS got it, okay. They cracked the riddle. Verse 11, chapter 24, verse 11. Deliver those being taken away to death, and holding back those slipping to the slaughter. If you say, but I knew nothing about this, and you knew about it, it's all on the internet, it's all viral, okay, but you still trying to do the twist, okay, if you still trying to call yourself living a life, okay, if you said I didn't know nothing about this, okay, you better wake up, okay, so you can make it out with your life. And hold back the whole slip into the slaughter. If you say I knew nothing about this, won't those who evaluate your heart discern it? Will the one who guards your life realize and repay each person according to his deeds? Okay, would that not be so? Book of Jeremiah. Okay, one moment here. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 16. Know that thus said Yahweh of hosts, the king that sits upon David's throne, and all the people that dwell in the city, and of your brethren that are gone forth with you into captivity. Thus say Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will bring upon them sword, the famine, and pestilence, and will take of them like vile figs that cannot be eaten, that they are so evil. And I will persecute them with the sword and famine and pestilence, and deliver them and remove all the kingdoms of the earth to the curse and to the astonishment and hissing and the reproach among all the nations where I have driven them. Okay, and did not this happen? You better wake up. Okay, one moment. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 27, verse 9. Therefore, hearken not unto the prophets, nor the diviners, nor the dreamers or nor enchanters, nor your sorcerers would speak unto you, saying, ye will not serve the king of Babylon. Okay, so hearken not unto these men, GOCC. Okay, all these false camps. Okay, they took her back. They've been compromised. Okay, the only group that haven't been compromised, who's speaking the truth, GMS. Okay, they have it. They cracked the riddle already. They did it. Turn to the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 4. I will incline my ears to a parable. I will open my I will open dark sands unto the harp. Okay. Of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligent in the fear of Yahweh, his house shall be soon overthrown. Okay. And how you hold yourself diligently, always tending to these scriptures. The book of Sirach, chapter 6, verse 22. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest to many. Give ears, my son, and receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. And put thou feet unto her fetters, and thou's neck unto her chains. Bow thou shoulders and bear her, and she be not grievous unto with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and see, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast made of her, let her not go. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and shall turn shall be turned into joy. Then shall her fetters be strong defense for thee, and her chains as a robe of glory. Okay, so basically you gotta keep in these scriptures. Okay, and you if you join ISUBK, okay, and GOCC and ISUC, okay, all these different groups, you won't make it when this thing comes to pass. Okay, you'll be destroyed with these men. Okay, yeah, and surely it's not with the Christian church. Okay, it's it's with that tiny sect, which we call a sect. GOC, it's with GMS. They have it. They cracked the riddle. Okay, like we discussed on multiple occasions. 34, chapters 6, verse 34. Stand in multitude of elders and cling unto him with that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables on the understanding escape thee. And if thou see a man of understanding of thee at bedtime, unto him, and let thou's foot weary the steps of the door, lest thou's mind be upon ordinances of Yahweh, and meditation continually in his commandments. He shall establish thou's heart, and gives thee wisdom of thou's own desire. Okay. Okay, turn to the book of Sirach. Sirach chapter 39, verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of the ancients, and will be occupied in prophecies. Okay. The book of, from the NET, the book of Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 4. Stop putting your confidence in beliefs said yes that say the temple of that said we are safe. The temple of Yahweh is here. The temple of Yahweh is here. The temple of Yahweh is here. You must change the way you have been living and do what is right. You must stop treating one another fairly and stop oppressing a resident foreigner. Verse 8. But just look at you. You are putting your confidence in false beliefs that will not deliver you, okay? That will not deliver you, okay? You putting your confidence in false beliefs. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, chapter 5, verse 29. I will certainly punish them for this, for doing such things, say Yahweh. I will certainly bring retribution on such a nation as this. Something horrible and shocking is going on in the land of Judah. The prophets prophesy lies. The priests exercise power by their own authority, and my people love to have it this way. But what will you? But they will not be able to help you when the time of judgment comes. So when Yahweh shall bring this judgment comes, all these false groups won't help you. How you gonna make it out with your life? How you gonna make it out on that midnight train in Georgia out of here, okay? Lest you call on Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, okay? It starts with the name right off the bat. Turn to the book of Ephesians. The book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 13. We'll start at verse 13. And when you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, GLS, when you believed in Mashiach, you were marked with the seal of the promised Holy Spirit, who is the down payment of our inheritance until the redemption of powers on possessions and praise of his glory. Okay, so if you want to make it out on this midnight train out of here, it's already full capacity. Okay, how you going to get a seat? Okay, if it's full capacity already. Okay, if you keep calling God Yahweh, if you keep calling God Hea, if you keep calling God Jehovah, okay, this midnight train George is full, okay? You won't make it out with your life, okay? You won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? You have to die, come back in a regeneration, okay? Because you're not keeping posture in Yahweh Shai, okay? You keep your false pride, okay? That's what this is about. Okay, that's what this is all about. The book of Second Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But false prophets arose among the people, just as there will be false prophets among you. These false teachers will infiltrate your midst with destructive hearsays. What's the destructive hearsay? White people could be saved. What's the destructive hearsay? The mark of beast ain't the RFID chip. What's the destructive hearsay? Okay, calling God on a different name. Okay, with destructive hearsay, because you lead these men, they gonna lead you down Let the blind lead the blind, both fall into the ditch, okay? They're going to lead you down the road of destruction, okay? Listening to these false men. These false teachers will infiltrate your midst with destructible hearsays, even to the point of denying the master who brought them. As a result, they will bring swift destruction on themselves, okay? Don't know it being cooked. What's this, okay, tell me what's the swift destruction? One moment. Tell me what's the swift destruction they're going to bring on themselves. What you mean? What you talking about? Okay, so over here, chapter, the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 12. But this will be the nature of the plague which Yahweh will strike all the nations who have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will decay while they stand on their feet, and their eyes will rot away in their sockets, and the tongues will dissolve in their mouth. Okay, thermonuclear destruction. Okay, when this thing comes to pass. Okay, that's what it's going to bring upon them. That's what's coming upon these men, okay? They can't save you, okay? They were false prophets. Back to 2 Peter chapter 1, chapter 2, verse 3. As a result, they will bring swift destruction on themselves, and they will follow their own debaucherous lifestyle because of all these false teachers. The way of truth will be slandered, and in their greed, they will be exploited you with deceptive words. Their commendations pronounced long ago is not sitting idly by. Their destruction is not sleeping. Okay? Because false brothers infiltrated. Okay, let's get it. Let's get it. False brothers infiltrated. The book of Galatians, chapter 2, verse 4. Now, this matter arose because of false brothers who slipped in unnoticed to spy on our freedom that we have in Mashiach Yahushai to make us slaves. Okay, so these men slipped in unnoticed. Okay, that's what they are. They false brethren. Okay, And if you follow these men, you too will be destroyed when this thing comes to pass. Okay, I don't know about you, but I want to make it out with my life. Okay, I don't want to be destroyed when this thing comes to pass by the terror of the Lord. We persuade men. The book of Second Corinthians chapter 5 verse 11. Therefore, because we know that the fear of Yahweh, we try to persuade people, but we are not as well to power, and I hope we are will know to your conscience too. Okay, the book of Jude. The book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 4. You certainly, for certain men have secretly slipped in among you, men who long ago were marked out for the combination that I am described, ungodly men who have turned the grace of power unto a license for evil, and who deny our only Master and Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Okay, so that's it. We only got a few more scriptures left. That's it. Okay, these men gonna cause you to be destroyed. Okay, you better run out these camps while you still got a chance. You better run out these camps while you still got a chance, while the gates are still open. Okay, okay, stop joining these men. Okay, they're gonna cause you to be destroyed. Okay, and I think to be truth, I think it's over with already. Okay, I think it's over. That's me personally. I'm speaking as a man. I think it's over with already. I think we're just going through the motions. Okay, we just waiting for this devil to bring out this satanic device. The book of Revelations 12, verse 12. Therefore, ye heavens rejoice, and all who reside in them. That's us. Okay, we rejoicing. Okay, this devil's coming down with great wrath. But woe unto the earth and to the sea, because the devil has come down unto you. He is filled with terrible anger, for he knows that he only has a little time. Okay, he only has a little time left. Okay, that's why these police shootings are more rampant. That's why this devil's coming down with great wrath. The book of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 4. So here is what Yahweh has to say about Israel and Judah. Yes, here is what he says. You have cried of panic and of terror. There is no peace in sight. Ask yourself this and consider it carefully. You have Have you seen a man give birth to a baby? Why then I see all strong men grabbing their stomachs in pain, like a woman giving birth. Why and why do their faces turn deathly pale? At last, what a terrible time it is. There has never been like it a time of trouble for the descendants of Jacob, but some will be rescued out of it. So, in a way, you won't make it out with your life, okay? Point blank, you won't make it out with your life, okay? If you don't come into Yahweh Yahushai, okay? If you don't come into Yahushai, you won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass, okay? Yeah, you won't make you can't make it out with your life with this one. You have to catch the next train in, okay, which is the regeneration, okay, which is 1,000 years, okay, and you have to be born in the kingdom as a baby, okay, and come in that way, okay, because on this one you didn't join the GMS, okay. Okay, you didn't join GMS when the time was here. Okay, let's get it. You didn't join. You won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass. How you gonna make it out with your life? Okay, the Book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 23. Call judgment down on Milos, says the angel of Yahweh. Be sure to call judgment down on those who live there, because they did not come to help Yahweh's battle, to help him in Yahweh's battle against the warriors. Okay, so yeah, you won't make it out with your life when this thing comes to pass. Okay, when this thing comes to pass, you won't make it. It's going. You have to be brought back to life again. That's what this is about. You have to be brought back to life again, okay? And a regeneration, okay? And Yahushua is that regeneration. Let's get it. It all stops and it all begins and stops and ends with Yahushua. He's the author of our faith. The book of John, chapter 11, verse 24. Martha said, I know that they will come back to life again in the regeneration, the resurrection at the last day. And Yahweh Shai said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even if he dies. And the one who believes and who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? She replied, Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Mashiach, the Son of Power, who comes into the world. Okay, so it's all Yahweh Shai. Okay, it's all Yahweh Shai. It all starts and stop with Yahweh Shai. Turn to the book of Hebrews. The book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, we must get ready on every weight and the sins that so clings so closely, and run with endurance the race set before us, keeping our eyes fixed on the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set out of him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of power. Think of him who have endured such opposition against himself by sinners, so that you may not grow weary and giving up. You have not yet resisted to the point of bloodshed in your struggle against sin. And I believe we have it all there. Hopefully you was well edified. I'd like to say shalom, and all praises and glory goes to Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.